Hello everyone, welcome to iTech Solutions interactive video sessions. In today's session, we are going to see how to add an image, a logo or a OLE object inside of TILOS. So to start with that, let us first understand what are the various types of cells available in TILOS. You select any of the cells across TILOS, each is defined as a specific type of cell. So what are the cells available? How to go to the cells also. Select on any of the cells on your screen and at the bottom a detailed object toolbar appears. In that you can see the cell type is a distance cell. Similarly, we can define any of the cells in TILOS as a time cell, a distance cell, a time distance cell, a graphic cell, Gantt charts, Moss haulage diagrams and dashboards. So these are the various ways in which many cells can be defined inside of TILOS. So what is the use of each cell is something we have already seen, where we have seen how to define a distance axis and also a time axis. And the intersection of both is known as a time distance scale. So for today's session, we are going to see how to add an object or an image, a logo or an OLE object. For that, let us start with adding a new row. I'm going and selecting to add a new row below. So if I select the new row, you can see that the cell is defined as an empty one. I'm going ahead and defining it into a distance cell. The reason I'm doing it as a distance cell is because I want to place the images or the logos in exact location to the scale defined. Let's create a new. In this, we can select insert a distance scale because this is the measurements we want. Press OK. Press OK. Automatically, you can see that already a basic scale has been defined here. So we can make it as hidden and all the values across will be not available. Now, how to add an image? In the insert object toolbar, you can see that there is a button called as insert graphic object. Click on the graphic object and you can see it is being toggled on. Now click and drag. So we can do it across the cell at any place so that the dialog box opens. There are four options you can see. We can insert a symbol from the library. We can insert a graphic from the library. All the options are available on the left hand side in our library option, where these are default options like a graphic object or a symbol. These can also be edited. For example, you can see the TILOS logos by default available inside. In this video, we are going to see how to insert a graphic object from a different file. So first I'm selecting OK, and option a dialog box appears where we can take an image. For now, I'm selecting a JPG or a normal image file. So this image can be of anything from a logo, a different type of image you want to bring in. In certain cases, you can also bring in the map images to show what milestone or any form of monument structures which you want to see can also be brought in. For now, I'm adding the TILOS image. Press OK, and the file is imported inside as a graphical object. But there is an important thing we have to do it first. When the image is selected, please come to the detail object toolbar at the bottom and scale it. This is very important because TILOS acts as an empty space. So each location in the distance cell has a coordinate, a start, end and the distance. So you have to always scale it so that when we move the axis, the location of TILOS is also proportionately fixed to it and the image is not lost in case if we don't scale it. So if we select none and we move it, you can see it does not move along with the object and the image can be lost like how we can move it. So what happens is during the movement or any of the options, we might lose the image or we might not be able to control where the image file is. So I'm selecting this image. I'm making it as both the axis and on the top you can immediately see what is the scale. So I want the TILOS logo between let's take it as 2 kilometers to 2.6 kilometers. So I'm going to select here as 2000 meters and the length I can define it as 600. So the image is already positioned. However, you can also click to move and there is also options of making the logo change in size as well. This is completely in the control of the user and it can be changed. So the logic of scaling is that the image whenever we are rearranging to the size is also available here. So first we have added an image. Now let us add a logo, for instance. So we will repeat the same procedure where we are selecting a insert graphical object, selecting it, select the same insert graphic from file, press OK. Now in this instance, you can see there are only the same option is available. That is because at the bottom of the screen, you can see that it is selecting only BMP, JPG and other files. We can select all files and we can see all the files available. I'm selecting a logo. A logo is in the form of a PNG file. So this has also been selected. At the bottom in the detail object toolbar, I am scaling it to both the axis, and I want this image file from 0 and the length to be 650, or I want to position it or rearrange the size accordingly to what I want. And after changing, again I can go press 0 and the position is altered. Or if I want to do it at 500, the file will move. So I'm making back to 0 and I am moving the file. So if you are selected it outside and you're not able to move the file back again, if you hover your mouse above the images, you can see a rectangular box which is appearing. So we should always select. So if you're selecting anywhere in between, we will not be able to. So when you move the mouse across, we will be able to select it. So I'm making it, adjusting the size accordingly to how we want it. Now I'm adding one more logo at the end of the screen. I'm repeating the same procedure. Go to insert a graphic object toolbar, the dialog box opens, press OK and select all files, and we can select the other logo. Now I'm arranging the logo to my requirements, and please always remember to scale. Now immediately we have inserted various different types of images in the form of a JPG, like an image file, or a PNG file inside of TILOS. Now let us see how to add an OLE object. What is an OLE object? OLE object is nothing but an object linked embedded images. So OLE object can be any form of object like an Excel sheet or a Word document, where we can add any sort of documents like a stencil of a diagram or let's see, a design document, for example, and we'll be able to do it. So to add it, first what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a row, or let's say we go about with a column. Let's say a column to the right of it. So I'm selecting the insert option and adding a column. We can always merge the columns. For now, I'm selecting this specific cell in the column and I'm defining this into a graphic cell. So go ahead and press a graphic cell, select a new content, press OK. Now this cell has been defined as a graphic cell. We will go back and press the same insert graphic object toolbar and select where we want to add the OLE. And you can see in the dialog box, the fourth option is insert OLE object. Press OK. In the dialog box, you can see that you can either create a new OLE object from all the options. So you can see that it is 97 to 2003 is the default embedding available inside of TILOS in the form of a PowerPoint, Word document, Microsoft Excel. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new file which is already available inside. So I'm selecting the OLE object file. The OLE object file is something similar to a stencil, which we will see it now. Press OK. Do not forget to press the link button here, because any change you make to that file will every time be changed automatically inside of TILOS as well. Press OK. You can see that the OLE object is brought inside of TILOS and it is available in the location where we have selected. Now again, the same options, where if you insert any form of the graphical object, we have to scale it to both the axes so that the OLE object does not move when we move the file. So I am placing it here, then dragging it closer. I am making it to the size where I want. Previously we saw that we can enter the distance scale in the when we added the OLE, the normal objects, but it is not available in graphic cell because the graphic cell goes by percentages and the length. So in this way we will not be able to refer a distance scale, since this is also a column. So you can see that a Excel sheet with the details have already been updated or has been brought in. But how to access it? select on the OLE object, and in the detailed object toolbar at the bottom there is a table or a tab for OLE object. So this is the OLE object which we wanted to export inside of TILOS. You can go ahead and press open if you want to make any changes to it, and automatically an Excel sheet with the changes which has to be made will appear, or we can predefine the Excel sheet with all the details, or a word like the company's name, what is the name of the project, what is the sub project, any project reference numbers, the name of the author, the date, the signatures, etc. can be brought in. So the same file will be brought available, and when we press open and update the file, we can make changes to the same. So let us bring the original back, and when I move, the reason behind scaling is when I move it, the OLA object is also proportionately positioned within TILOS, that any changes we make further will not affect the OLA object. So that is all for today. Thank you.